What's going on YouTube? This is Eric Kelly, aka the Tech Gentleman, and I got a truck backing up next to me here. But yeah, I just wanted to wait till that truck finished. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to talk to you about the Note 7 debacle, or the fiasco that is the Note 7. Just wanted to tell you guys what I thought about it, the status of it, and just how we kind of got to this point. And I got two theories. The first one is, and I think this one isn't that likely to be the case, but I think the first one is Samsung knew about it. They knew about the issue, and they just kind of swept it under the rug. They weren't worried about it that much. And maybe in the testing, they felt like, oh, well, we didn't have that many cases, so it's not that big of a deal. But it turned out to be a bigger deal than they thought. But I think that's very unlikely, because no matter how mischievous or how sneaky they were being, it was always significantly better for them to go ahead and address the issue. You know, it was always easier for them to go ahead and get the device out of their hands, because the more they had to touch it, the more they had to put their hands on it, the more money it cost them. So once they ship the devices out, it cost them money to get the device back into their hands, do whatever they needed to do to fix it, and then ship it back out. It cost them money. So I think that quickly became less likely. I think the most likely thing is they don't know what the issue is. That's just it. I think that you can look at the fact that they never came out with a clear plan as far as, you know, what the issue was, and also how they're going to fix it and how they're going to prevent it from happening moving forward. I think those are critical when it comes to restoring people's trust in them as a brand and as a company. But I think they'll recover. I don't think they'll have an issue with it. But I do think it's going to set them back, simply because they never came out and said, hey, we know what the problem is and this is how we're going to fix it. And that way you can have confidence that when you buy another device from us, that we'll have addressed the issue and you don't have to worry about that. They never did that. So that is why I believe that that they just never figured it out. Personally, I think that, you know, my assumption of the issue is it's some sort of firmware software issue. And the reason why I say that is because of the number of devices that actually had the issue. It was so few. You know, they aren't making, wait for this truck to kind of quiet down a little bit, but they aren't making devices in batches that small to where out of 2.5 million you have 90 incidents. Like, if it was a true battery issue, I think that, yeah, Robert says, you know, Samsung still don't know what the problem is. I agree, simply because it just would have been so much cheaper for them to fix it and move on. And they could have saved a lot of face by saying, you know, proving like, hey, we really know what the issue is. We fixed it by our devices, but they never did that. You know, and they still haven't come out and said that, especially after they claim to have fixed it and still have devices blowing up and making it worse. They have no idea what's going on, which is kind of sad. But like I say, my initial thoughts are it has to be a software firmware issue, because if these batteries, if they're making them in batches as big as they should to fulfill orders of millions of phones, then those batches, like, there should be thousands of batteries that have those same issues. Yeah, the USB Type-C, I think that probably has something to do with it as well, because we forget, this is Samsung's first USB Type-C phone. And the way the Note operates is very power intensive. You know, they've crammed a lot of technology into this phone. Most of it is tried and tested. You know, you look at the S7 Edge, it's pretty much hardware-wise the exact same as the Note 7, except for the USB Type-C. And the fact that USB Type-C hadn't been standardized yet, they're still working out, you know, the cable specifications, the port specifications, and things like that. You know, there is some room for some confusion and some issues to happen. You know, Google, when they put out their Type-C phones last year with the Nexus 6P and the Nexus 5X, they actually had to have one of their engineers make a video telling people, hey, make sure you use these cables and not these. but make sure you use these chargers, or else you're going to damage your phone. You're going to have some issues. So I think that definitely probably has something to do with it. But once again, I don't think they ever really figured it out. And hopefully, the right thing to do would be get back in my car right quick. The right thing to do would be for them to, once they get it figured out, to just let us know, because that's going to be the only way they can truly move past this. They aren't going to be able to just say, come out next year with the S8 like, hey, yeah, don't worry about what happened with the Note 7. We got that worked out. Yeah, I know you don't know what the problem was. We never told you what it was or how we fixed it or how we're going to make sure it didn't happen on this phone. But just trust us. I don't think that's going to happen. But I also don't think that, for one, the Note it's a niche device. It's one that they sell probably, I think 5 million would be a high number for the Note. Whereas they're selling, probably close to 10 times that of the S7 and S7 Edge. So as far as it really damaging their brand to just kind of get rid of the Note altogether, I don't think it does that. I think that, sort of like how Ford came out with the Ford Fusion. Everybody knows that that's their replacement for the Ford Taurus, but the brand name for the Taurus just kind of like it was a crappy product. In order to distance themselves from that name, they had to change it. But we know that in the Ford lineup, it replaced it's the new placeholder for where the Taurus used to be. But I mean, they've come out with a better product now, and it's gotten, a lot of people are happy with the product. No one thinks about the Ford Taurus. So I think that's kind of the approach that Samsung's going to have to take. They're going to have to actually look at, coming out with some new name for the Note line, like maybe the S7 Edge Plus. Yeah, sorry, my live broadcast app just crashed on my S7 Edge. Hopefully this one goes out and picks right back up. But yeah, they're gonna have to replace that brand. Maybe an S7 Edge Plus, Edge Pro. I like what you're saying there, Robert. Yeah, man, they're gonna have to come out with some sort of placeholder, man. Something else that fills that niche. Because I've never, and I think that this is just a testament to how solid the Note was. Every video I watch of people that have Notes, maybe they're reviewers or people that I talk to, just in the streets, just regular people, everyone who has that device loves it. They do not want to let it go. And it's going to get to the point where Samsung has to take extreme measures to get that device back from people, whether that be, remote bricking the phones or, blacklisting the IMEIs, or something, basically making the phones unusable because people love the phone so much. And I think that's a testament to how well made the phone is. A site like The Verge, where historically, they rate iPhones higher than pretty much everything else. The Verge gave the Note 7 the highest rating they've ever given a phone, ever. And I think that just speaks to how great of a product that Samsung had. But this fiasco, they can definitely get through it. It's going to be a financial burden, both now, just with the act of doing the recall, and then also in the future, there's going to be a financial burden because they aren't going to have that profit that they would have gotten from the Note. Granted, it's not what's keeping them afloat business-wise as far as their mobile division. That loss of money hurts, So not only are you not making as much as you thought you were going to make, but you're bleeding money, literally, from having this active recall in process where you're pretty much having to foot the bill, because I'm sure the carriers are coming back to them and they're letting them know, like, hey, you need to pay back some of this money. We bought these devices from you. They're having to give refunds, and also everybody's having to put extra money into training people how to go through the return process, training their employees. When you get a Note 7, this is this is the process for returning it. This is the process for handling the exchange or giving people money back. They have to train people on how to do that. And so I think that's going to cost them money. What's up, Chicago? I see you, man. Appreciate you dropping through. Yeah, man, this is just me kind of giving my thoughts on the Note 7 debacle, the fiasco that is the Note 7. and it's crazy because Samsung sort of had like a trifecta this year. It's like they had two of the best phones of the year easily in the S7 and the S7 Edge. Normally you would have to kind of recommend the Galaxy phone with a sort of caveat like, yeah, you know, if you're leaving the iPhone, if you don't want an iPhone, you can definitely get the S6, but the battery life isn't going to be as good, or, you know, there'd always be some caveat. But this was the first year that Samsung had phones that you really could recommend without any sort of hesitation or really any sort of caveat or compromise. You know, you get an S7, it's going to be a great phone, feels good in the hand, excellent build quality, battery life is pretty good, best camera on the market, best screen on the market. You know, they had a winner with that. The S7 Edge, you want something a little bit bigger battery, still great camera, still great screen, sexy phone. You know, they had winners, and then when the Note 7 came out, you know, I think that initially people were expecting it to be just over the top, but Samsung made it a lot more mainstream this year to where there are a lot of people that never had Notes that were picking up Notes. Like even my wife, like I have the Note 5, and I let her use it for like a month, and she gave it back, and she just wasn't, you know, she just wasn't impressed with it for whatever reason. But before I even showed her the Note 7, I don't know where she saw it at, but she was telling me like, hey, I think I want a Note 7. And normally, you know, she has the S6 Edge, and normally I have to pry a phone out of her hands. You know, she never likes to change phones. She likes to keep her old phones. But she got the idea that she wanted the Note 7. She just felt like it would be a good phone for her. And you know, I think that was really something this year. It says, yeah, Samsung has the money to repay carriers. Yeah, they got the money. That's just not what they planned on doing with it. And I think you're right, Robert. I don't think they're going to lose that many customers over this. I think for the most part, the mainstream media, like they kind of have Note 7s exploding. But just my history with talking to people that have the Note, it's either, like I think that for most people, just the exchange process has been more frustrating. But everybody who has the phone loves it. I mean, you look at videos on YouTube, and there are reviewers making RIP videos and talking about how sad they are to return it. And like I said, I know regular people that, you know, just do not want to let their phone go, man. They are not happy about getting rid of their phone at all. And they're saying it's the best phone they ever used. So I think that that's definitely a feather in Samsung's cap. They just have to ensure that this doesn't happen again. You don't want this to be a reputation type thing, you know. You don't want to be known for this. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Yeah, Chicago said he doesn't believe they're going to drop a Note or Note type device next year. Thinking maybe 2018. Yeah, that's possible, man. I don't know. Because the thing you have to think about is everybody who used the Note, like, they loved it. Like, I don't remember anyone using a Galaxy Note device and having any complaints with it. You know, great battery, great screen, great camera, great build quality. It was a unique looking device. It was an all-around great phone, and people are kind of, you know, against their will having to return it or swap it out for an S7 Edge, or even, you know, going to iPhone. I think the people that are going to iPhone are kind of going to be stuck simply because, you know, between 2-year contracts and lease agreements, you know, you're going to be, unless you're going to be willing to drop, you know, $400 next year to finish paying off your device or to get out of your contract, people buying the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are going to really hate it. Mostly because next year is when Apple is supposedly going to be coming out with their real revision of the iPhone. You know, the iPhone 7 is literally just it's sort of like a refined iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. So between next year when the new iPhone comes out, or whatever Samsung decides to do as far as the Note line, I think that's going to hurt people that went to the iPhone. Because next year, come, you know, September, you're not gonna want the iPhone 7. That's just, either way you go, you're just not gonna want it. And especially coming from a Note device, whatever Samsung decides to do, especially with, even the S8 is supposed to be, leaps and bounds technology-wise over the S7 and S7 Edge. You know, they're talking about all kind of stuff like, you know, 4K screen, and I think that's actually shown up in benchmarks, where the S8 is going to have like a 4K screen and all this stuff, but they've got to ensure people that they can make a phone that doesn't explode. And I think that they're going to be under a microscope, because this type of thing happens. You know, like I've been getting articles from friends where they're sending me articles about iPhones exploding and catching on fire, but those don't get any airtime because nobody cares. It's not that big of a deal yet. But if a Samsung product explodes, I got somebody sending me an article saying that a Samsung washing machine exploded like a week or two ago, and it's just anything fire related. Dealing with a Samsung device is going to be it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem for them, and they need to come out and tell people definitively, this is what happened, this is what we did to fix it, and this is how we're going to ensure that it doesn't happen in any more devices. And until they do that, they kind of leave their reputation in the hand of bloggers and the media, really. You know, just kind of how people feel about it, because there's no message that they're putting out going against what people are saying about the devices, which, you know, they have no idea what's wrong. They have no idea how to fix it. And the fact that they had a recall, put out devices, and then had to have another recall, and they just scrapped the whole process, kind of, you know, goes along with that story, that narrative, that they really don't have any idea what's going on with these devices. And I think that, you know, as Robert was saying, the Type-C might be an issue. I also think that there's maybe like a firmware glitch or bug or something like that. Because as far as, you know, heat regulation in phones and stuff like that, that's all regulated through the firmware of the phone. That's supposed to, like, the phone monitors itself. It knows how hot it is. It knows the temperature of the battery. Like if you've ever pulled any, you know, hardware stats off your phone, the phone has stats for all this stuff. It knows how hot the battery is. It knows what the charge rate is. It knows what the, you know, milliamp hour voltage of the battery is. It knows what the total is supposed to be. The phone has a lot of information on just its status, and so for something to allow it to kind of break through those parameters, those thresholds, I think there has to be some sort of issue or bug. Like maybe it's, you know, a controller that wasn't functioning properly or something. Like I said, as of right now, Samsung has no idea what it is, and I believe it. I believe that to be true. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. Just wanted to hit you up and kind of give you my thoughts on the whole Note 7 thing. I've been pretty quiet about it because I never got one. I was planning on getting one for my wife, but I was trying to wait until this whole thing settled down, but that never happened. So until next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you like the G vlog, the gentleman vlog. Let me know if this is a good style, if you got any complaints, audio, video, anything. Right now I'm recording on the S7 Edge, so if you guys got any comments or suggestions, just hit me up and let me know, man. Until next time, guys, peace.